Good morning, boys and girls, and today we have a math lesson. And this math lesson is a little interesting because it has to do with shapes that you should already know because in previous videos we talked about shapes. Okay? So I'm going to incline my camera so that you can see and we can figure out these basic shapes and match them. We're going to what? Match them. Shall we? So as you see, we have 3 rows of shapes. Okay, I'm going to put them closer to the camera because you cannot see them, and sometimes that gets a little complicated. So we have here 5 basic shapes that you should know before you go to kindergarten. Okay, and it's very important that you do know it because these are the ways that they're going to be testing you. All right? So let's go with the most easiest shape, the circle. A circle does not have sides, it's just round. But if you do find, you have to match them. Doesn't matter what color, it doesn't matter what size. What matters is that you match them. So I'm going to look at this circle and this circle. They do match because these two, even though one is small and the other one is big, they match because they are the same shape. Do I have another shape like these two? Absolutely. I have the blue one. So even though the blue and the red are the same size, look, the blue is thinner and the red is thicker. So we do have a match of shapes. They're all circles, different size, different colors, and different thickness. All right? So I'm going to put the circles to the side because these already match. Let's go with another shape that you should know by now. And that should be the triangle. This triangle is looking down, but this one is looking up. So even though they are in different positions, they are still triangles. Why? Because they have 3 sides that are the same size, and they, even though they have different sizes, this one's small and this one's big, they're both called triangles. So you have 1, 2, 3 sides, 1, 2, 3 sides. And you have 3 angles and 3 corners. So these two are the same. Do we have another triangle? Absolutely, because even though this triangle is kind of twisted or in a different position, it is considered a triangle as well. And so they may not be the same size, meaning this one and this one, but the yellow one has 3 sides, 3 corners, and 3 angles. So this is a triangle. Now, I'm looking at these 2 triangles. They are the same size. Same size. However, if I put them together and I put it this way in the camera, one is thin and the other one is thick. So they're all different kinds of triangles in different positions, in different colors, but they're still considered triangles. Good. Now let's go with another shape. And I'm going to bring these shapes a little closer so that you can see them better. Okay? So now let's go with, obviously, the next shape, which should be the square. Square. This square and this square, They're both considered squares because they're both with four sides, equal sides. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 corners and 4 angles. The other thing is that they're the same size. Even though there's different colors, they're the same size. And look at the thickness. This one is thick, but this one is thin. Although that is all different, they're still considered as squares. And another thing that you should know is that even though this one is here in a different position, it is still considered a square. This is not a diamond, okay? It's not a rhombus, it's a square. So if I put it this way, they have the same angles, same points, corners, or sides. The only difference is it's a different color, it's smaller than these other two, and the thickness between the yellow one and this one is very thin for the green with the red one. So these are considered the square. Now we're down to the last two, and these two you usually forget. So let's begin with the rectangle. A rectangle, even though it is in different position, okay, it's still considered a rectangle. It doesn't matter if I do this or put it back, it's still a rectangle. And a rectangle has four sides, yes, four corners, and four angles. But the difference between these two is the color and the thickness. Look, this red rectangle is thicker and this blue one is thin. The other interesting thing is that they're in different positions. Positions mean that you can put them either this way or this way. And they don't have four sides that are the same. Only two sides are considered the same. We call them these two sides to be perpendicular and these two sides to be perpendicular. Same way this way. These two are perpendicular and these two are perpendicular. Okay? We also have the other rectangle. Yes, we do have a yellow rectangle. However, this yellow rectangle is smaller. It is thick like the red, but it is smaller, and it does have all four sides, all four corners, and all four angles. So this, even though it is a different color and a different size, these are all considered rectangles. And our last one for today is obviously the hexagon. The one that everybody forgets is the hexagon. Hexagons have 6 sides, 6 corners, and 6 angles. All right? These two are with the same thick dimension, but they are different because one is red, the other one is blue, one is small, and the other one is big. And even though that is true, they are still considered hexagon. And finally, the yellow one is also a hexagon because the yellow one has 6 sides, 6 corners, and 6 angles. This shape is the shape of the same size as the red one. However, if you look here, the yellow one is thin and the red one is still thick. So even though it has a different color, a different size, a different thickness, it is still considered a hexagon. Hexagon. So, what did you learn today? Well, I hope you learned to identify at least 5 different basic shapes. 2, that you are able to see them in different colors, different sizes, and different thickness, because some of them are thin and some of them are thick. So you're supposed to look around your house for those shapes. I want you to find circle, triangle, square, rectangle, and if you have something, because not everybody has it in the house, if you have something made out of hexagon, go with hexagon. But the important thing is for you to recognize, compare and match what a shape is versus another. So, hope that you can do this at home. You have a wonderful day. Look at all the videos that we have on Google Classroom. Make sure you submit everything that you do and that you are watching these videos, because then it's going to get a little harder when we go back to school tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow we go back to school into the classroom. It'll be the new month called December. December. And it's going to get us closer to Christmas. All right. So what we're going to be doing is a little different than we were doing before we went in quarantine. All right. So remember, smart is not something you are. Smart is something you get.